Hello gamer family, and welcome to my Shadows of Valentia map ranking video. Woo! Anyways, I guess I'm doing this now because this is when I'm doing my absolute best of Shadows of Valentia, so I figured this was the right time. Anyways, before we get in, this tier list is actually custom made. Tier list maker didn't have any Shadows of Valentia map ranking stuff that I could find. It had a guided one, but it didn't even have all the maps. So this is custom made in Photoshop, so things aren't properly aligned. That's why. Also, because of that, since I have limited space, I essentially had to make a lot of the tiers a lot more even than I would have otherwise. So to make up for that, I have added plus tiers on the finalized tier list. You'll see at the end. The things with the red outline are in the plus tier. That means if I didn't have to make all the tiers more even, those would be in that tier no matter what. So like for instance, the D plus tier maps are ones that would be in D tier regardless of whether I could make the tiers as big as I wanted or not. Where the maps in the regular C tier would, if this was made in tier list maker, be in D tier, for instance. Yeah. That's about all I have to say there. So, I guess we should get in. Oh, also, there aren't like actual proper chapter numbers because this is Shadows of Valentia. So, yeah. Instead, I have to do technically like the map names, some of which may or may not be correctly named. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. F tier. Number 47, Attack on the Desert Stronghold. This sucks. This map actually is ass. Like this is bad. So much of the map is just annoying desert. The bows are so annoying, and on hard mode they all actually have like proper bows equipped, so you can't even really use your flyers very well. And oh wow, this is just so boring. Like, there's not a single fun thing in this map. Sure, there's more maps that don't really use all the space there, but at least the space they use isn't so annoying like this awful map is. Number 46, the Swamps of Duma Battle. Yeah, there's pretty much two maps in Silica Act 4 that are identical. There's the first time you do it, and then there's this time. But this time is more annoying because Jeddah is on the map. And in fact, actually, if you look at the actual map images, the two maps are identical. They just have slightly different color and different enemy placement. That is the only difference. And that sheer lack of variety alone lowers this to F tier. But Jeddah's just so annoying, so that makes it the second worst map in the game. Number 45, Fight at the Dragon's Maw. This is just an annoying map. It's just not very fun. Especially like if you get here too early, you just have to do this over and over and over again. All it is a bunch of necro dragons attacking your units. You don't really get a chance. There's really not much places to move to, so it's just not fun. And I get why this map exists, but it's just not remotely fun. Number 44, 5th Pirate Raid. You may be like, what's so bad about this map? You know, not much other than the fact that it's the exact same map essentially for the 5th time in the row. I don't mind boat maps, but the problem is 2 boat maps. 1 map that isn't a boat map. 2 more boat maps. If you want to do it, Necro Dragon. 5th boat map. If you don't do like the Necro Dragon stuff, you essentially have 2 boat maps, another map, then another 3 boat maps, and it's just like, come on. Come on. It's just, at this point, you're just over it. It's so unoriginal. It's so pointless. Why even bother? Number 43, Attack on the Last Bastion. does this map deserve to be this low? Yes, it does. It is so annoying. It is so annoying to play with all the ranged enemies everywhere, making it hard to approach in, and oh my goodness, it's just not fun. It's not fun. All your units that don't have range, well, they are gonna have a hard time. Like, obviously, you can warp in some of your units and use your range on others, but come on, it's not a fun map. It's just annoying. But it's a really cool idea for a map. It's just really annoying. Number 42, First Battle of Southern Zofia. There is literally nothing on this map. It is literally a plain. There is nothing. This is an FE4 map, except without interesting enemy placement, a castle to siege, and villages to protect. Oh, you also don't have fun unit skills or fun like inventory mechanics like Fire Emblem 4 does. That is like worse than Fire Emblem 4. And I like Fire Emblem 4 maps, but this feels like the worst possible way to go about that type of map design. 41, Forest North Side Battle. This and the next three maps after it are all practically identical of being a plain with a singular bridge. I just happen to find this one the most annoying and least original version of this. This is like, I believe this is the second time you are on this map. Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't even remember which one this is. It's just one of them. And it's the one with all archers, and archers are just annoying to fight, so me no likey, me no likey. Speaking of the devil, number 40, Second Battle of Southern Zofia. This is the first one of those maps. This one's slightly better because it's the first one, but it's also worse than the ones that come later. And you may notice, like, with the repeat maps, I typically rate the repeats lower, except for this map design. This one's so low because all the enemies are so far away, but 4 of them are just in the top left corner, literally as far away from your army as possible. That is so annoying. 39, Northern Zofia Battle. Now this is definitely like at end of Act 3 or something. This one is ranked higher because at least most of the enemies are closer to you, so you don't have to wait forever for them to come to you. But again, it's practically the same map. So, it still sucks. D tier maps. Remember, if I didn't have to make all the tiers fairly even, these maps would all have been in F tier. But, thanks to the fact that I had to make my own tier list, these maps got saved and moved up to D tier. How lucky are they? Anyways, the first one here, of course, I believe I already said number 38. If I didn't, number 38. Rigel Plains Battle. Why is this one so much higher? Because if you do other maps first, half of it is green units, which means it's practically a free win and nothing happens. Yeah, those maps suck. I'm so glad we are done with them now. Number 37, Rigel Falls Battle. Have you ever woken up in the morning and been like, wow, I wish I could play Rigel Falls Battle? No. Because it's literally, all this map is 2 giant chokehold points and then a fortress up top. Now, obviously, if you don't limit yourself to 10 units like I do when I typically play this game, you have units in the north that can help deal with the northern army. But even then, like, it doesn't make the map more fun. It's just boring. Like, the lower army just has 2 chokehold points. And the northern army just doesn't have a fun fight either, really. Number 36, Siege of Nuababa's Abode. Yeah, I didn't keep this in F tier. That's crazy. Why not? Because at least there isn't there's not a boring chokehold point. I almost actually enjoy this map. but at the same time, the enemies are so annoying. Like, seriously, if it weren't for, like, all the enemy types in Shadows of Valentia being annoying, I actually probably would rank this higher. Like, in a game with different systems, I'd rank this higher, but also, it's still not a good map. Number 35, Zofia Castle Battle. Now, you may hear them be like, what? The same map as this? No, this is the Act 2 version. That's Silica, Saber, and a bunch of magic units that are so annoying. This literally does not need to exist. This map is a waste of time, and it shouldn't exist, which is why it's this slow. 34, Act 4 Skirmish. Now, obviously, you may notice that something I didn't mention is we aren't doing dungeon maps. Mostly because it's like one map is reused through a whole dungeon. I just didn't see the point in using those because none of those maps are interesting. They're all pretty much flat plains. So why am I doing these skirmishes? Because your main... Oh yeah, you also, besides the first shrine, you're like not forced to do... Most shrine battles you're not even forced to do because you can skip pretty much every shrine. So why are the skirmishes here? Because you're forced to play them at least once. And this is just the worst one. It's Swamp and Necro Dragons. Yeah. 33. The Dead Man's Buyer Battle. Yeah, you know the, like, one with Jeddah that I said was bad? Yeah, this is this. That is the same map, except this one doesn't have Jeddah or the eyeballs. I think the eyeballs may be spawned by the cancers. I literally could not remember. It's slightly less annoying. Although, you do have to cross all your units across the swamp, which is why it's still so bad. D+ tier maps. Number 32. Remember, with this, we're essentially in the core D tier. If I didn't have to compress everything, these would be in D tier no matter what. These maps are the definition of D tier to me. Anyways, number 32. Rigel Forest Battle. This one's kind of just harmless because the first group of enemies you're so close to, and half of the other group of enemies are like witches, which really just leaves like 2 enemies. So, I don't mind this one. It's not like exhilarating or anything, but I don't think it's like awful. But it is still below average because it's really just a bunch of forests. Number 31, Second Battle of Zofia Forest. Great. You got a circle of trees in the front and a bunch of horses everywhere else. How delightful. That's literally all this map is. Essentially, the horses come to you. It's boring. The terrain doesn't matter because you're really not going to use it for the most part. It's really just waiting for the stupid cavalriers to come to you. Number 30, Border Battle. It's literally the exact same map as the last one, except the terrain's actually required to be used because the enemies start in it. No, I'm serious. Like, they're like pretty much the exact same map. They may actually just be the exact same map. They look like it, though. But, like, they serve the same purpose. C tier maps. Remember, again, if I didn't have to make it all the tiers more even, these would still be in D tier. But for the purpose of the video and for the tier list itself, C tier. Number 29, Fourth Pirate Raid. Again, another pirate map. Who cares? Number 28, Act 3 Skirmish. The only reason this one's so much higher than the Act 2 Skirmish, despite being extremely boring, is the fact that it's actually really great for grinding up your units if you want to grind them. Number 27, Attack on Dolph Keep. I don't mind. Out of all the swamp maps, this one's my favorite, just because there's the most platforms in the middle, and this one's really easy just to yeet with your flyers, like more so than any other. And I don't know, I've just actually never minded that one as much, but it's still not good. It's not. C+ tier maps. These are the definition of average. Number 26, the Act 2 Opening Skirmish. I don't know, it's the other skirmish, but slightly more enjoyable, because your units don't start as like a straight line at the bottom and that are clumped together. Plus, you're not like required to go through it as much, so that makes it better. Number 25, Desert Battle. This is technically 2 maps. This is the Dean and Sonya maps, but they're literally the exact same map, except for one of them you start on the top and head south, and the other you start at the south and you head north. The only other difference is witches versus sword enemies, but really, they're identical maps, and they're just okay. Number 24, Fear Mountain Battle. This is essentially the third Ram Valley map. Now, this one is actually a different map. This is not the exact same map being used, but it's essentially Ram Valley, except now there's 2 different valleys that you go up. This is also, though, where I'm going to take the time to say, the maps in this game do look gorgeous. I think, obviously, people give Shadows of Valentia credit for having, like, great-looking character models, and as far as the 2D animated cutscenes go, it also has the best of those, mostly because all the issues with the frame rates and all that are hidden by 3DS display and graphics, unlike 3 Houses, which didn't have that advantage. But the maps themselves look literally gorgeous. This is the best looking. I hope all future Fire Emblem games have this map art style. Obviously, I want the portraits to look different for each continent and game. That's one of the things I love. I love how different all those look. But the actual like map art and sprite work should almost always look as close as possible to this, because this looks gorgeous. But this map isn't very fun, in my opinion. Number 23, Fleischer's Forest Battle. Yeah, this gives you a good taste of what a lot of the maps are going to be like in this game. At least forest-wise. It's a bunch of trees. And some enemies in a fort. Yeah, it's just boring. There's not really much to say on it, which is why it's in C tier. 22, Prologue Battle. You can kill all your characters. You can kill Almond Silica. That's why it's this high. B tier maps. Again, these are essentially average still. They're average, but slightly better of average maps than the C+ tier. Number 21, Necro Dragon. What? How's this as high? Especially because I kind of complained about it being in Engage. It introduces you to Necro Dragons. It's also a really tiny map. So, I guess I like it being compact. Yay. Number 20, Storming of Duma Gate. I don't know. I originally wanted to put this map way lower, and I briefly did, but for some reason, I enjoy this map way more than I enjoy the... For some reason, I enjoy this map way more than I enjoy the Last Bastion, and I guess that's because, since this is Silica's route, you have a lot more flyers and a lot more magic users, so the walls aren't as annoying, and there's no bow users really either, so that's not as annoying. Obviously, the witches kind of suck at the beginning, but I actually, for some reason, do not mind this one, and kind of find it almost fun. In fact, I would actually kind of call it fun. Number 19, Siege of Desai's Fortress. I'll tell you this. If it weren't for the starting area being covered in trees, this would actually be a really fun map. It's just, actually, because like once you get to the fortress, it's fun. But just that random enemy on the right-hand corner, and the fact that it takes forever to get all your units to the fortress, makes this map worse than it really should be. Number 18, Liberation of Milla's Temple. Again, why did your units start so far away from the action? At least in FE4, they tried to put enemies pretty close to the home castle, so that it only took 1 or 2 turns. And remember, this is FE4, a game with giant-ass maps, where it's more so expected to have a little bit of downtime. But this game, there's really no reason to have... Like, the map is so big, but 99% of it literally does not matter. So, what's the point of having enemies down there? Because at least in FE4, most of the space is up for grabs for combat, where this really isn't. Number 17, Storming of the Valley Approach. This is literally just Ram Valley. Like, I'm only 99% sure that this is actually the same map, but it plays identical either way. So, Like, I don't mind. As a map, I don't mind it. Again, I wish you started... I mean, I do kind... I like the map. It's just, I wish it wasn't a reuse. Number 16, First Pirate Raid. Again, I don't mind boat maps in Fire Emblem. So, I kind of like this one. It has a good chokehold point. It's not too long. It's short enough that you have like that you'll chokehold it for a couple enemies, then you'll actually go through and attack. You won't be on this chokehold point for like 5 hours, like some previous maps. And it's a fine boat map. It's nothing too amazing. Number 15, Second Pirate Raid. This one's higher because you have 2 different chokehold points, and there's enemies on both sides, so you're probably gonna use both. Both bridges are necessary. I think this is actually a good boat map. This is how you do a boat map right, in my opinion. At least it's short, quick, and you have a couple of fun chokehold points. I actually enjoy it. Anyways, B+ tiered maps. These are where the maps actually start getting pretty good. We're no longer on average or average plus. We're in maps that I actually kind of like. And I will say this. If I were to, like, not make all the tiers as equal as possible because I had to use this all in Photoshop, B tier would be the shortest tier. But yeah. Anyways, number 14. First Battle of Zofia Forest. Yeah, this is a forest map. This is... Actually, I'm pretty sure the same map is the same exact thing as the second map. So why do I like this one so much more? I like the way it looks. It's a pretty map, and I don't know. I really don't have a reason for putting it this high. It's pretty. It's the prettiest map in the game, in my opinion. Did I give a map B+ tier because it looks pretty? Yeah, I think I kind of just did. Number 13. Storming of Ram Valley. Again, like I said, I like this map, and this is the original. This is the first, before it becomes, like, used multiple times. It also has a great introduction to shields. So, again, it's a simple, nice, and fun. I like it. A tier maps. Again, in a conventional tier list, these would technically be B tier, but these were good enough maps that if I had to condense everything down, I figured I might as well move them up to A tier. And I remember this. These tier placements are relative to other maps in the game. I don't think there's any map from this game that I'd put in an S tier in the whole franchise. Hell, I love Fire Emblem 4, but there's only a couple that I would put top tier overall in the entire franchise. But with that all being said, number 12, Zophian Coast Battle. Yeah, I actually like this. I think one of the reasons why I like it is because you have green units in the north, then you have units right by you that you need to fight. And I just actually enjoy that quite a bit for some reason. I just do. Number 11, Forest Crossroads Battle. You got 3 boss enemies in a forest. This one's kind of done quick and easy, which is why it's so high. I actually don't mind it because it's essentially a boss fight. You know, and I actually don't mind that for once. A+ tier maps. These are good maps. And I'll also say here, there is no S+ tier. There's only S tier. Which means this is the second highest tier. These are all pretty good maps. I like them all. Number 10, Attack on the Southern Outpost. You would think that I wouldn't like this map, but I actually do. It's simple. Pretty much all the space in it's used. It's a great introduction to bows and what they could do. And it's also just a nice, simple map. You can just send 1 or 2 units to the sides and then send a bunch forward. And yeah, I think it's a good introduction to bow. A lot of bow stuff. Number 9, Ramwood Battle. Yeah, the first proper map is one of my favorites. It gives you a good introduction on how to use terrain. Number 18, Liberation of Zofia Castle. Like, the actual Zofia Castle map. Again, if you started, like, right in front of the gates, I think this one would be way better. And, like, one of the doors wasn't locked, forcing all your units to go on the same side. If it weren't for that, this would actually be a pretty good map. I think it's fun, especially, like, trying to defeat Desai before he leaves. And multiple boss enemies is always cool. And I always find it, the actual gate way, like, the 3x3 area, like the gates or the bows are to your right, and you have enemies in front. I actually find that area fun, and you kind of need some strategy. Number 7, Assault on the Pirate Throne. I don't know. I like maps with green units in this game. Green units in this game make the maps less painful. Number 6. This one doesn't have a proper name, so I just named it Berkut. Yeah. Again, I find this one really fun because the bosses are a pain in the ass to fight, and the enemies are decently strong, so you do have to play smart on this map. And this is one of those few maps I feel like you need to play well. And I like that a lot. Now this one may surprise you. Number 5. Third Pirate Raid. Yeah. Why is it so high? Because this map's a brilliant introduction to the canters. It's a great tutorial level to like the most annoying mechanic, and it's so great that they taught you canters on an isolated level by themselves. Plus, this boat map does feel different from the others, so I like that. S tier maps. These are actually almost really good. Anyways, number 4, retaking the Sluice Gate. I like this one because Delphia makes it so that you have to play this map fast. It gives you an incentive to play fast and kill the boss fast, and that makes this map fun! Who'd have thunk time incentives make maps fun? Number 3, Attack on Grief Citadel. This is just a good siege map. There's a good amount of regular enemies, and the cancer isn't as annoying here. Well, I do wish you used all the Citadel. Use a good majority of it, and I've always had fun playing this map. Number 2, Attack on Regel Castle. Do I like this map mostly just because Rudolph doesn't attack Ulm, and I think that's so cool? A little bit. But I like the siege maps in this game. I think those are, obviously, as you can tell, those are kind of my favorite maps. The two, some of my favorite maps in this game are where you have to, siege a fort. And I think that's what this game does well, is those kind of maps. And this is the best one of those. And I do think moving Rudolph from where he started, the original game, was a good idea. I don't know if it's just the image I'm looking at that he starts, in the center. He may actually start in his old place in hard, I don't remember. But hey, at least where he is in this image I have on the tier list, I like. Anyways, number 1, the final map. Yeah, I find this one fun. Jeddah is a pain, but it's kind of cool how you have such an interesting boss in this level. And, yeah, sure, maybe the swamp's a little annoying, but the best part about this map is once you beat it, you're done with this game. And yeah, that's my tier list. These maps look really pretty, but I don't like them very much. And it sucks. What I enjoy about playing Shadows of Valentia is it just feels good. The game feels good to play. The units feel good to use. And I like the inventory system. But imagine, I just wish it had all these features on, better map design. That being said, I am super glad that Shadows of Valentia is faithful. Because my point of view on remakes is, if you're going to change everything that made the game that's a remake of, why not just make a new game? If the story and characters are the only thing that's the same, just make a new game with similar characters and as good of a story. And that's my philosophy on remakes, and sure, that may make Shadows of Valentia at some points in time a little harder to play, but at the same time, it feels like a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden. It feels like if Fire Emblem Gaiden was made today. And well, that's all I have for this video. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.